I've spoken before about the ancient mind in contrast to the modern mind. One of the features of the ancient mind, and it doesn't seem to matter which culture it belonged to, whether it was Eastern cultures or Western cultures, is in its understanding of magic. Magic is dependent on our relationship with the universe. And the ancient mind saw the universe mirrored in itself. There's a famous saying, as above, so below. In modern terms, this is sometimes described as macrocosm, microcosm, parallelism. In other words, there's a parallel between what's going on here in the microcosm to what's going on out there in the macrocosm. And by doing things, certain rituals and so on, I can affect the macrocosm. This is macrocosm, microcosm, parallelism, and it's the basis of magic. It was the basis of the power of the Brahmins in India. They were the ones who performed the rituals which could bring about certain results. And it's even more than parallelism. I would say it's identity. There's an identity between the body and the universe. And we often get this in the Yoga Vasistha when we hear talk about cosmic dissolution and Brahma creating the universe. It's set out there in cosmic terms and in cosmological terms, but in order for this to make any sense, we really need to relate it to what is going on within our own psyche. And I say this as a precursor to chapter 93 here, because we've now got yet another exposition of how things come to be as far as Hindu cosmology is concerned. Vasistha continued, "Thus was I instructed by the Creator Brahma in days of yore, and that I have conveyed to you, O Ram. Thus, since the absolute Brahman, in its undifferentiated state, pervades everything, everything is in an undifferentiated state." It's a little bit inaccurate to say that Brahman pervades everything. It seems to be making a distinction between everything and Brahman. Somehow Brahman is in everything. It's not. Brahman is everything. But this is language. But we've got this idea that it's all, it's because Brahman is one thing, it's described here as undifferentiated. But it's not undifferentiated. So how do we explain this? Well, this is what happens next. When that of its own accord condenses, the cosmic mind is born. So we've got this idea that the undifferentiated Brahman condenses. And we've got this thing called the cosmic mind. In that mind there arises the intention of the existence of the different elements in their extremely subtle state. The totality of all this is the luminous cosmic person who is known as Brahma, the Creator. Hence, this Creator is none other than the cosmic mind. So there we've got a description of how the Creator, Brahma, arises from the undifferentiated Brahman. It's through a kind of condensation. This Brahma, the Creator, sees whatever he intends to see in his own mind, for he is of the nature of consciousness. It is he, Brahma, the Creator, who has wished into being this nescience, which is the differentiating principle in the universe. It's what I call the cognitive process, and on account of which one confuses the self with the not-self. And it is this, with this factor of nescience, that the Creator has caused this universe, the mountains, the blade of grass, water, etc., to appear as one of diverse creatures. Because of this, though the entire universe is nothing but infinite consciousness, there appear to be creatures born of atomic particles and molecules. Therefore, O Ram, all objects and substances in this universe have emerged in Brahman the Absolute, just as waves manifest in the ocean. And again, it's important to bear in mind that the waves are non-different from the ocean. In this uncreated universe, the mind of Brahma, the Creator, perceives itself as the egotism, and thus does Brahma, the cosmic mind, become Brahma, the Creator of the universe. The power of that cosmic mind alone appears to be the diverse forces in the universe. Infinite number of diverse creatures manifest themselves in this cosmic mind, and they are then known as diverse jivas. I don't think this story really helps in many ways. It's quite an interesting story, but it's now talking about lots of different jivas, lots of individual psyches. When these diverse jivas arise in the infinite space of consciousness, seemingly composed of the elements, into each of the bodies consciousness enters through the aperture of life force, and thence forms the seed of all bodies, both moving and unmoving. So we've got this another Hindu metaphysical notion coming into play here of the life force, prana, and this gives rise to the whole teachings of Kundalini Yoga. Thence birth as individuals takes place, in each individual being accidentally, like a crow alighting and a coconut falling, brought into contact with different potentialities whose expression gives rise to the law of cause and effect, etc., and thence to rise and fall in evolution. Desire alone is thereafter the cause of all this. Ram, such is this forest known as world appearance. He who cuts its very root with the axe of investigation, inquiry, is freed from it. Some arrive at this understanding soon, others after a long time. This story we've just heard, you need to actually cut it all aside and look into things directly for yourself.